What's up, everyone? I'm the one, the only Jack Slater, aka the Comic Outlaw, and I'm feeling fantastic. So, we're doing Fantastic Four issue 9, The Return of Submariner. Hell yeah. And what's he got planned? Is he gonna attack them? Is he gonna break the fortress down? No. He's attacking them with money. Yes, that's right, the Fantastic Four has gone broke. And as Submariner chills at his lush pad, he's wondering if his new plan's going to work. And, to be honest with you, in comic books, Stanley is very interesting. Apparently, the Fantastic Four, and Mr. Fantastic, the genius himself, has apparently lost all his money on the stock market. I'm not kidding. A man can build a nuclear accelerator that can take you from one dimension to the other, but he can't play the stock market. But anyways, everyone's going broke. They offer their services to help. Mr. Fantastic says he doesn't want to turn anyone into a freak show. They come to take the plane. Thing naturally tries to stop them, and then he bugs out, And the cab driver, of course, refuses to take him, and our friend Ben Grimm deals with it in his own way. Fires his flare off, calls Johnny Storm, and gets a ride to Allison's house. Yes, the blind girl, whose stepfather is the puppet master. Yeah. Well, she convinced this thing to come back, and of course, he gives a big hug for everyone. And the Fantastic Four is broke, so they're hitchhiking all the way to LA, all the way to Hollywood. Yeah, California. And this is another pinup page. I also think this is very cool that back in the day, Stan Lee and Kirby just used to do this to explain stuff about the Fantastic Four, the members and their powers. And of course, this evolves in annuals and stuff like that as, science does grow and the industry grows. But we're back. And yes, they're in Hollywood. And it's kind of cool, you're seeing actors, you're seeing prop guys, a little fake knife right there. And they're going around introducing themselves to the stars, what have you, the producers. And of course, they meet with the main man, the big boss. It ends up being Submariner. That's right, Submariner is rolling. It's funny how the villains always seem to have all the cash, while the superheroes seem to really have nothing, except for a few, of course. But Submariner explains that he's collected treasure over the years. His family has also collected gold, stocks, bonds, what have you. So he has a lot of money. He's balling. And so he kind of buys off the Fantastic Four for them to star in their movie. Things kicking back. Johnny Storm's doing stunts. Well, things sort of kicking back. He's being a crab and beating people up. But that's basically what he does, And Submariner is trying to wine and dine Susan Storm, of course. And he has Mr. Fantastic shooting a quote-unquote movie. He ends up leaving him on an island, and then he gets attacked by a creature that Submariner had left there for a long time. A prisoner, actually. And his one purpose is to destroy Mr. Fantastic. And I love how he just comes down with a rock, crash. You gotta love those little classic pop-ups, don't you? Of course, Mr. Fantastic squeezes his way out. I mean, the man's made of rubber. Throws the rock back. He's able to slingshot it back. And, he trips up the giant. And it's just what Mr. Fantastic does. He has a way of outthinking his opponents. He makes the giant, of course, fall into a pit. And Johnny Storm is sent to this tribe. And actually, this is one of the more interesting parts of the comic book. This is a tribe that worships fire. I'm not kidding you. They literally worship fire. They're immune to fire. Fascinating that a Submariner knows all these locations, areas, places of magic and cyclopses and different creatures, Submariner has a wealth of knowledge. That's what makes him so dangerous. But anyways, Storm tries fighting off these tribemen, but they're absorbing his power. And of course, he only has his power for a very limited time, so he does run out of it. But he uses his powers once again, does a flame on, makes duplicates of himself, and then takes off. It's interesting how the Fantastic Four's powers kind of wax and wane in the beginning issues, but it's really cool, Storm decides to run right into the volcano. Johnny blows up everyone on the island, and I do mean everyone. Damn, even back then, Stanley was dark, yo. But Thing and Submariner have their little fight, one of many. And of course, he's trying to lure him in the water because the deeper the water is, the stronger Submariner gets. And Thing is trying to lure him away from the water, trying to pull him into the beach. Now, pound for pound, I say these guys are pretty much equal on land and to a certain point in the water. But of course, Thing and the Submariner are having their moment, and something comes out of nowhere and just hits Thing. And all of a sudden, he turns human. And like I said, it's interesting how Thing turns human so many times, and then there's a point in the 80s, 70s, and 80s where it just was a thing that would rarely happen. But anyways, Submariner tries to put the moves on Susan Storm. She goes invisible and tries taking off, but Submariner has the powers of all the creatures of the deep, apparently. Uses his electric eel power to kind of shock everything around him. She throws a blanket on him, but he can, of course, see in the depths, so he can kind of sense her. He tackles her, grabs her, and right before he's about to have his way with her, the other members of the Fantastic Four bust in, ready to kick some Submariner butt. And indeed they start to. And then Sue, of course, defends him, saves him. And of course he kept, they made a contract. They kept their end, so he went off, disappeared because he has a shred of honor. And the Fantastic Four are back. And what's going to happen the next time? Well, we'll find out, won't we? And I'll catch you on the flip side.